Hi everyone, happy Saturday to you all. I'm connecting with you again this Saturday with faith that I'm going to bring something to contribute to you. And today we are going to be talking about burnout. So today's streaming is all about burnout, like what is it, how it, what are the symptoms, how it occurs, what does it do to us actually, and of course how to deal with when we feel the burnout, and also how to prevent burning out, because it seemed to be the pattern that is repeating in our lives. Welcome everybody who is joining me. And very briefly, I introduce myself. My name is Lucia Hoxa. I'm a fertility mindset coach, and I have been accompanying women on their journey to live the lives they love for past almost 20 years now. I love doing what I do, and it makes me happy and alive. And the most I love your success, which I can celebrate, because your success is my success, your breakthroughs are my breakthroughs, and what I love and what I admire is your courage and your willingness to say yes to yourselves. And these kind of people I love to take under my wings and work with, and it's just tremendously, my life is, what I'm trying to say is that my life is enriched, in, how do you say it in English? Enriched. Is very rich also because of all of you, because I'm able to contribute, I'm able to be here for you, I'm able to learn from you as well, because that often happens as well, of course. I continuously learn and grow, and I love my life and I love what you do, and I believe that I'm a real stand for all of us to live the life we love, because life we have only one, and because we all deserve it. So welcome everybody who is joining live. If you're joining from replay, press hashtag and replay. Fingers crossed today I should have a guest. Her name is Alexandria. I'm waiting for her to join any moment soon. There's like crazy time. It's like 5:30. No, I think just 6 o'clock in America right now. We just spoke to each other. I know she's up. She's this wonderful lady. I'm just waiting for her to come up. Oh, yes, she's coming up. She's coming up as we speak. So let's approve this. An invitation. I think it's up. Alexandria, I'm so excited. She's coming, she's coming. Adding. And here she is. I'm so excited. Can you hear me well? Yes. So we are saying hello to where?
Okay, hold on. There's feedback on my side, so I gotta figure out how to get rid of it. So it's
That's okay, honey. I give you time to fix it.
Okay.
Fix whatever you need to, and then fix your camera. In the meantime, I'm going to say Alexandria is a wonderful lady who is joining us all the way from US. Where about exactly, Alexandria, you are?
In Kansas.
In Kansas. So we've got Alexandria joining us from Kansas. She's my friend. She's actually co-author of the book that we are releasing on 30th of June only.
Yep.
And I'm so excited about you being here. I literally pulled you out of the bed. So thank you for being here with us. And I just give you a little space to introduce yourself. Who are you and why you are here? Because it's going to be so much nicer if you do it yourself.
Okay. Alexandria, I'm owner and creator of the brand. Courageous confidence coach for intuitive business growth. And if you see me pausing, because I'm trying to really focus on what I'm saying, but saying there's still feedback. So,
sweetie, you're breaking up a little bit. We don't mind you pausing, but you're breaking up a little bit. Is your internet connection stable enough?
Okay. Is that better?
Let's see. Let's see.
Okay.
So you are, just say it again. You are, go on.
Okay. Okay. Courageous, confident coach for intuitive business growth. Be having a course launching soon called The Great Hallway. It's a journey where we kind of move you into a space of being able to become aware of your gifts, and, like retrieve them and rebirth them and utilize them within your life, within your business to be able to carry you into the next levels of your life. Because we use our gifts and skills enough. And I think that's
Mm,
important.
mm. And I love what you are saying, what you are doing, because this is how I believe I wish every business is being done by it's organic process that is coming from it's hard led,
Yeah.
and it's coming from the contribution, from the space of contribution, and because that's where we are making the most difference. So I love what you do, and please keep on doing it. And today, for all of you who are joining us, I just want to introduce what we are going to be talking about. We are going to be talking about burnout with Alexandria and with all of you. So please, this is an interactive thing. If you please had experience or a story with a burnout, just say yes in the comments, because I would love to hear from you. The reason for this is that I chose this subject year ago. I've been streaming, if you remember guys, I've been streaming from Albania for my holidays years ago, and I know I had a lot of feedback about this, like a lot of messages from you, and I realized the burnout subject is so relevant that I decided to stream about it a little bit more. A year ago I was talking about my own experience, and I'll mentioning here as well. And I know a lot of women are watching also who are on their journey towards motherhood. And this is very, very relevant subject to all of us. Why? Because the life is fast. A lot of things happen. The life is dynamic. We need to, adjust the situations. Like there are breakdowns and like things that happen, right? And we need to be a lot of times very creative, very react fast, and it's a lot. People are tired. I'm talking to a lot of people, and people are tired. So I hope this subject is going to give you a lot of value, because we are going to be talking about burnout, like how to recognize it. We are going to be talking about the symptoms of it. We are going to be talking about prevention, and also what to do when you're right inside it, because that's probably the toughest place to be. So thank you very much for joining us, and welcome everyone again. So just to make sure that I can read your comments, let me just see. So yeah, if you have experience with the burnout, just send us a thumbs up or yes. And also, if you feel that you want to share with me in person, feel free to send a personal message, because I know that it's sometimes hard to talk about these personal things. So feel free to communicate. I'm here for you, just to let you know. And Alexandria, I want to ask you, I know that you have like some experience with the burnout also, because similar to me, you always, since we've been children, we've been always up to something, right? We've been always creative, like we've been always kind of, I had a fingers a lot of pies, and we have a lot of energy, and that can be misleading sometimes, right? Because when you are someone who loves life and who's got a lot of energy, sometimes you feel like a superhuman, and the fact is that we are not, right? Like we are just humans.
Right.
So what was your experience with a burnout, and tell us a little bit about it.
I think my experience with burnout probably really started when I was younger and I had my, first jobs and working a lot. getting out of school and going to work and then working till midnight and then needing to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning to then go to shift. So it just ended up being this cycle of just truly, and to the point where my body was just done. It didn't want to get up. It didn't want to eat. Didn't want.
Alexandra, can I ask you, is there anything you can do with internet connection? Because I'm getting the gist of what you're saying, but it's breaking up a little bit. Is there anything you can, like Wi-Fi, not off Wi-Fi, or move around the house?
This this is the only spot in the space that actually has decent Wi-Fi. And if I turn the Wi-Fi off, it won't even work at all.
I got it. I'm getting the gist what you are saying. So just continue. I mean, if it gets bad, I might have to pause you because, and it's so like such a shame because, but I'm getting it. So continue.
Okay. Yes.
And I will try to, help you somehow.
Okay. But just got to a point where my energy just didn't want to move. And our energy is always like continuously moving, whether we're moving or not. But it stayed stagnant. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to do anything. And life being how it is, I was blessed with the opportunity that I maybe didn't know was the opportunity at the time to be a stay-at-home mom. It allowed my energy to ebb and flow in its own ways a little more. And even though the job of motherhood, it's not a job, but it's a job, and that was difficult, but it still allowed me to be in my own space and follow my energy patterns and rhythms and things, which then allowed me to understand how to better work with my energy so that I don't experience burnout. So for me, I do require like a good chunk of sleep. And for other people, they may do well with like 5 hours of sleep. And, also I need to not a large breakfast. If I eat a large breakfast, I'm done for like the whole day. And that's a lot of time that I could be using things in my life that I need to do, want to do. And so just being able to figure out how to work with your energy and move with it can really allow you to understand how burnout fits in and how you can kind of adjust the dial a little bit so that you don't go all the way to burnout, so that you catch it before it gets there, so that you're not laying in bed and not wanting to get up and feed yourself, let alone feed the kid. All of these things that are required of us in our own hearts, in our head, in our lives. And, I think I really did the most, though, when I just caught myself really just feeling so sad and like my life was just gonna go nowhere because this spiral was just so continuous.
I get it. And what I'm hearing is a wonderful thing that you said, and that's exactly how I have it, or how I had a experience of burnout. Like once you are already there in the bed, or whatever definition you have of burning out, it's not too late, but it's quite late.
Yeah,
it's so hard to climb out of the hole, like literally, because when we are in this stage of burnout, we become lethargic. We don't, it's almost like bordering with depression, right? Like you don't want to do anything, you are not interested. You are opposite to yourself, actually, isn't it? Because burnout happens most of the time to these successful people who are up to something in life.
Yep.
And so it's almost, so what I'm hearing, and I'm seconding that to you, is a prevention. And how do we do the prevention is really, is a is a process of discovering the triggers, the symptoms, and from my experience also, like, my why for the
Yeah.
need to be everywhere and do everything and saying yes to things, it's very is much deeper than just, you know yes, like you said, not having a big breakfast and sleeping 8 hours. Those are things that are practical things that you can do, that are valid, that are important. But for me, it was also discovering, like, what is my why, what is really behind this drive, like
Yeah.
trying to prove myself, or looking good, or you know people to admire me or something, like there is something behind
Right.
it, like my need to or a lot of my clients have, like, actually being scared of failure. If I stop, that's it.
Yeah.
The world is going to collapse, or I will never get to where I want to be, or like that.
Yeah.
And I just want to insert this being very valid for ladies on their journey towards motherhood as well. But it goes for all of us. For us to function, and why? For us to function on an optimal level, and this is like scientists talking, but I will put it in a simple language. We need to really be in a state of thriving rather than survival. Because due to stress, pressure, and continuous long-term stress and pressure, we get to the stage of survival where we feel like machines. When you go to work and you can no longer, focus, you are not able to perform anymore. You're frustrated because you're not able to perform. You're making mistakes. Everything is taking a lot of time. You have to repair the mistakes. Please send me some kind of hello or thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about, a little heart, because I'm sure that we are not alone with Alexandria. Alexandria is nodding. I'm really pleased to see that, because yes, it's a story for many of us. We all have been there. We all experience something. Maybe we just don't have a word for it.
Yeah.
Or maybe we even have a word for it, but we don't know what to do about it for it not to happen again.
Yeah.
And so the relevance for women on a fertility journey, well, I tell you this, what I learned on my fertility journey. I often get inspired by nature, just observing nature. And I remember once I kind of realized that it was like light bulb, like, hold on a minute, like, even like animals in a forest or something, like when they had a harsh winter or something where there was not enough food, yeah, and they are being scared of, like, um they're going to be hunted, or there's like some big animals, or like a lot of them, and like they're in this stage of survival, basically same as us, but we have it with stress and different kind of factors. They throw much less cubs than they would normally do. So if, I don't know, like deer would have like 7 cubs or 3, they only she only throws like 1 or none that season. And so being inspired by Mother Nature, it makes sense that for women, if she's dealing with burnout, if she's this amazing successful woman, like I had a conversation with one earlier, who was saying to me, Luz, I achieved everything I want in life. I ticked all the boxes. I traveled the world, I've got a successful job, I earn great money, and I can't have a baby. This is the only thing I can't control. Well, it's to do with different strategy. That strategy is not working anymore. Trying hard doesn't work anymore with fertility. So there's another strategy. But anyway, it's all connected, guys. I wanted to just give you a little bit about why I'm talking and why I chose this subject of burnout, talking about it as a fertility mindset coach, as well as coach for women who are still reaching out to me. So, burnout is something, just let's wrap it up, something that, to me, I don't know about you, Alexandria, but it zaps the energy from me. It zaps the zest for life is no longer there. Would we agree with that?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. So in your case, what happened is that you had this opportunity to not stop, but to slow right down, like when you actually became a mom, right?
Yeah.
And you've been able to kind of like pause and take that time where you've been able to see and like feel, I guess, like tune in more with yourself, and you created a space where you started observing your energy levels and what is actually happening. Like, what are your triggers when you know that you are, or symptoms when you know that you're going there? Like, I tell you mine after, and you guys share with us yours as well. So what are yours?
Well, my telltale is initially just get very irritated, frustrated, and just angry at just very simple, small things. Uh, like this one thought that I keep having to walk over, but don't have the mental energy to pick it up. Now I'm in a state of heading down that burnout road, and if I step this sock one more time, I'm gonna lose it, right? Um, and really that leads into to sleep a lot more, but not really rested from sleep because I'm still like churning while I'm
Mm-hmm.
sleeping, and probably trying to release out the while I'm sleeping. And those are kind of my initial telltales, because I've gotten to a state where I catch it when it's at that space, because I don't want to go any further, because then it does enter depression territory where I'm not going to get out of bed, and it's not going to be a successful day, like, period, because I'm not going to even try to do it. You know what I mean? And not that not trying to do it is a successful day, because in some respect, a lot of respect, that's a successful day. But the truth of it is, for me in my life, where I'm going to go, having a whole day in bed, unless I like actively chose it,
Mm-hmm.
is not going to move me forward in things that I'm for my life stuff. Now, if I'm like taking a day off so that I don't burn out, and so that I can rest and actually resting, that helps a lot. And I've noticed all of these little itches that you can't scratch, almost like just irritation and frustration and overwhelm. I know, okay, check out and go be by myself, and I need to rest.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I
Yes. And giving yourself permission to do that, like, it's such a
huge,
huge thing. It
huge,
was a huge thing for me. And
yeah,
I agree with you. It starts with these irritations. And the favorite
yeah,
of mine is where I'm running with such a speed that I'm irritated about people being so slow. But people are absolutely normal. Like, that's what's normal. But I'm
yeah,
like, you know, and that's the first, yeah, and that's one of the first signs, and I'm like being irritated by people not being focused on not fast, like, and
yeah,
yes, irritation with things, that's a very good telltale signs. And also, yeah, I definitely agree that, like, finding, giving yourself, ourselves, that permission that no matter what is happening, like, I'm shutting down the curtains and switching off the phone. Like it is interesting that for you, one of the things that happens that you sleep, you have a tendency to sleep a lot, but you don't get rest.
Right.
Like I have opposite. I can't sleep. Like I can fall asleep, but I wake up like, 6 o'clock in the morning. And again, sometimes it's my choice. Like today I'm up, well, my baby is not well, one of my babies. So I'm up with her. But then I could have worked, like, and normally in the past I would work, till 6 in the morning, till both of them wake up, because then she fall asleep. But I actually went, I I went to get some, I love mine, ginger tea, and uh, and I literally, that was this morning. The difference was that, so before I would just work through it. I said, okay, I'm up, I might as well work. I don't push through. But I didn't this time. I went to, yes, it was 4 o'clock when my baby fell asleep, but I actually lied down at 4 o'clock and slept till 6. And yes, it's whatever, but I make it work. And I didn't force myself to sleep, but I took a moment to tune in and say, well, what do I really need? So I think the first thing what we need to do when we are either inside of the burnout or leading towards the burnout or experiencing the burnout on a regular basis, I would say is to create a space where we actually stop for long enough to tune into our true needs.
Yep.
And at the same time, I I always, as someone who experienced burnout so many times, I always had, and it was not pleasant. Once it wasn't pleasant. Um, I have to realize and always had the forefront of my mind the payoff. Like the thing that once, you know, yes, I can do this one thing and this one thing and reply this one email, but it all adds up, right? It's just little things, but it all adds up. And if I do this one, like seeing the big picture, because if I, God forbid, like the burnout can be something that can be healed for years, actually. It took me um, maybe a few months, but for some people it can be years. Like I know people, and I have people who, and to be honest with you, to get from one of my burnouts, when for me, Alexandria, it showed up that I remember I was in London, and it was because we are talking about work burnout. I was doing the job that wasn't in line with who I am at the time. This is years ago. Oops, she dropped off. Hopefully she will come back. So I just want to share with you how the one of the burnouts showed up in my world. And I was doing the job for charity organization, but it was more like working for business, like any other business. And because it was so, okay, she's just writing, she will try to see whether she can join us again. So I had a lot of responsibility and blah blah blah, and I was working long hours, and it wasn't in tune with who I am. Like it was not making sense for me. I was not, like, I was coming home working 16 hours and I felt like, yes, we are going to change the world. It wasn't. I started with a faith that it will be that, but it wasn't. Anyway, what happened is that I remember it was Friday and I started feeling weird, like not physically, but I couldn't concentrate anymore. And I had to cancel. I was teaching yoga after my job as well at the time. And I had to cancel. I was like, "Oh, I cannot, stand up in front of people in this day." So I decided to go home. And guys, what happened? It was really scary. What happened is that on the way from work, the journey that I was doing with the tube, like for many, I don't know, over a year that time, so I knew exactly where to change the route and get on another train and so on. I got to the tube station and there's something happening in my head. I mean, my head is so fragile, and I swear to God, I didn't know where to go. Like like I was lost, like I was confused. There was all these people going, heaps of people in a rush hour in London. There's a lot of people, and I was overwhelmed. I was standing there and I felt so hopeless. I literally couldn't do anything, or couldn't remember, couldn't think anymore. Like my brain, I think that's what it was. My brain was so overloaded with amount of information and long-term pressure and stress and deadlines and all that, you know, really took its toll. And my brain that Friday just, I can't take anymore. Like I can't take like one little information. Like if someone asked me a simple thing like, "Are you hungry?" I would not able to answer that, or even talk. So it was very, very, for me, it was very, very scary moment. And I remember I just held the hand of one, like I came to one of the ladies intuitively, I think, and on the platform, and I just held her hand, and all I said is, "Please take me home." And she was, thank God I had the right person. She then took me home, and my husband met me. And anyway, but I wanted to give you example about, how this can also happen, like the actual burnout, like mentally. So we've been talking about burnout and about some of the symptoms. Of course, like there's so much to, talk about. I will briefly go through 12 stages of burnout. So maybe me sharing this is going to give you some kind of aha moment. So it's mostly, as I mentioned, is for us who are like excessively driven and who's got ambition and like go for things. Often like we push ourselves harder and harder in order to get somewhere or achieve something. It also, another stage or symptom of the burnout that is leading to burnout is when we are neglecting our own needs. Like I remember when I used to work from home in my pajamas years ago, like I didn't even realize whether I'm hungry or thirsty or what. Like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I realized it's 4 o'clock and I didn't eat yet. When I was almost like, so tired and barely typing. So neglecting our needs to the degree that we are neglecting our basic needs like sleep, food, and so on. I'm talking about, severe impact of it. But it has a different, obviously, different levels, different stages of it. Yeah, like another symptom is like I'm talking about work burnout, when we no longer find the time and we justify, that's the funny thing, we justify it and we feel completely right about it. We no longer find the time for non-work related needs. Like going play squash with friends, or even going for a coffee with a friend, where we are so focused that one of my clients said, "Luz, I've realized that they stopped even calling me to go for a coffee because they knew what I'm going to say, so they actually gave up on me." Like, how sad. And she didn't see it before, so that's another one. Another one is is denial. Like, I'm not working hard, that's what needs to be done, shit needs to be done. That's what I used to say. Like, there's no other way. There's no other way. Like, if I don't do this, my boss is going to call me on that, and that's it. Like, I will lose my job. I've got a mortgage. I have no other way to pay my bills. So is a denial of the problem that is actually World Health Organization treats the burnout as a actual, one of the most common problem, and as a mental health issue as well, that leading to mental health issues. Sorry. Another one is withdrawal. So we withdraw from the society. We withdraw from reaching out to people, from having new ideas, from being creative, from doing things what we love, even from our own families and kids. Withdrawal is very common because, you know, when you are in a stage of survival in the space of a burnout or leading towards the burnout, you have no capacity for anything else, never mind to go for a party, and you don't want to show up in front of people because you're totally surviving. You're in a, like, it's almost like being on a different planet. There are also behavioral changes that are one of the symptoms of the burnout. So you get more, with Alexandria earlier, we've been saying, we get more agitated, more irritated. It's all because we feel, you know, our brain is operating in this stage of almost like being threatened, you know, being threatened from what's going on, like circumstances, lack of time. Oh my God, we feel like failure as well because we keep on you know, failing the deadlines, and actually it's not leading towards success. And even if we achieve a success, it's not giving us joy because we have no time to enjoy the moment, because there's no time to celebrate. There's always another thing that feels important, and everything seems important and urgent. There's no perspective. There's lack of perspective from the eagle point, you know, like from above. Like, you know, there's is people see it from the outside, but from inside we are not able to see it. So it's also interesting one is depersonalization, when you feel detached from, literally from your life and ability to control life. That's a very important one. When you no longer feel like your life is yours. And also there's like inner emptiness and anxiety. There is this empty feeling, like what's the point of this all, like, and there is almost like you're losing hope, and again you feel like your life is not in your hands, so you are feeling like hopeless, and that is leading towards depression. And the last one, you know, is mental and physical collapse that burnout can lead towards, which is complete you know, inability to cope with the simple things like making a cup of tea, or you know, and that's when the medical attention is necessary. So how to prevent the burnout? Now I want to say the obvious things are, you know, eat and balanced diet, exercise, meditation, yoga, regular practice. You know, we all know this, right? And practice the good habits, you know, find out how much sleep you really need to revive your body, your mind, all those things. Those are the obvious things, but I don't want to spend much time, because we've got like 5 minutes left. I don't want to spend time to talk about those because you can read it in a magazine. What I want to talk about is something more important, especially to you who have been dealing with the burnout for many times over and over again. There is a pattern of this, and like I mentioned with Alexandria, there is some like kind of why behind the burnout, which is something that is very important to look at when you have history of burnouts. The reason why is that if you don't know your why and don't pay attention to discover and become conscious about the triggers leading towards the burnout, but mainly, you know, first find out about your why. Like, why are you driven? Why you're doing the things you're doing? Why you're living your life the way you live your life? Why do you find something being important? And for some people it's like, you know, like some people don't experience burnout, and it's nothing to do with, you know, amount of work or pressure they have. They're just wired up differently. It's very interesting because yeah, it is because we think often when we are experiencing burnout, it's because of the amount of work we have, or amount of pressure, or stress, and or we sometimes feel that we are weak, we are too weak to deal with that, other people are stronger or something. It's not true. We are just wired up differently, and it's very important to uh, get awareness about what is really causing your burnout, and it's very individual. So I would say ask for help, get a professional to guide you through the process, um, because that will make a true difference to you from preventing it, and and well, preventing it really in the future. So it's very, very important to find a coach, a therapist, or someone you trust and believe in, or at least to have a conversation. You don't have to start a process, just talk to the person. That's why I'm reaching out to you guys. So have a conversation and see what is possible, because you don't have to live your life this way. There is another way, much more pleasant, much more the way that will actually give you a freedom to enjoy experience of life, and to be more creative, and to free yourself from this stage of survival. So it's like taking my programs, all of them are from taking you from the stage of surviving, the stage of thriving. And I love seeing the results of it on you and also your families. So I would say, I mean, I've got a lot more to kind of say about all these things, like how to, maybe you have a family members or friends who are dealing with burnout. There are different ways how we can support them, as well as make a difference to them. And there's a lot to say about burnout, but maybe for the bringing ourselves to the end of this streaming, I want to, of course, say thank you to Alexandria, who joined us at the beginning, and unfortunately her joining us from US, she had some probably internet connection problems. So thank you, thank you, thank you to Alexandria for sharing your story of a burnout, and how what helped you to cope with it all. It really contributes to all of us when we hear someone else sharing authentically. And for you guys, if this subject resonates with you, if you even know someone who's going through the burnout, that this streaming can contribute to, or I can contribute to them or to you, having a conversation, because every situation, every person is unique. So that's why I love to work with you on one-to-one basis, and to see, and have a conversation whether we are good fit, whether you're ready for your journey through a transformation. And I'm always happy when you are ready, like a ripe apple, because that's when I can take you underneath my wings and make a lasting difference in your life. So if this resonates with you, share it with people, share it on the social media, send me a personal message. And the most importantly, don't be alone with whatever you are dealing with, because you don't have to be, and you don't have to be guilty or ashamed. We all are human beings. Look at me, like I'm still dealing with my challenges in life. It's just like, it's amazing not to be alone in it, and it's amazing to have a tools and that different perspective, because that is going to make all the difference, especially if someone can take your hand and take you through the process. That is going to, there's something else on the other side. Thank you guys for watching. I love you. Have a great rest of the weekend. And no doubt I will see you or around, or I will speak to you very, very soon. And I'm so excited. My book is coming out on 30th of June. So those of you who want to see it or who want to find out more about it, let me know. It's almost here. Just a few more days. I love you guys. Bye for now.